Welcome to day one of the 7-day self-care challenge. Today we're talking about what is self-care and what does it look like for you. So self-care has 4 different main pieces to it, right? It's your physical, your emotional, mental, and your spiritual self-awareness, self-care, right? That's your health. Those are the 4 elements of health that we're going to focus on. A lot of our days are going to incorporate both sides of them. There's one day that we are going to talk about getting fresh air, going outside. And while that's physical, it's also good for your spiritual health as well. So hopefully we can incorporate all 4 of these into most of our days. Today, what I'm going to ask you to do is to check out the file called Self-Care Assessment. If you can print it, it's a PDF, so it should be fairly easy. If not, then try and jot down on a piece of paper your answers. Be as honest as you can. You're not sharing this information with anyone. I'm not going to ask for a copy of it, and I don't want you to post it in the group or anything. The point of this is for you to see where you might be lagging a bit in your self-care. So first we have to assess where we're at, right? Most of you registered on my website for this challenge, and I asked a couple of questions about your self-care to get you thinking about your assessment. And now I want you to fill out, it's about 2 pages, I believe, about where you think you're at. If some of these options, if you're reading through and you're thinking, this doesn't apply to me, then give it a 0 or a 1 and move on. But if you're giving it a low score and you're thinking, gosh, I should really be doing this, then I want you to really consider what you can do to improve those scores, improve those numbers, right? And hopefully this week will help give you some tools to continue doing this when we are not here together. The second part of your homework, for lack of a better word, is to write 50, yes, I said 50 words that you associate with self-care. So whether you want to get creative and make it colorful, obviously you guys see from behind me, I like color. I like to be organized, but that's just me. You don't have to do that. You can just number a list 1 through 50. You can color code them. You can mind map them if you want. Do whatever you want. You're not sharing it. But try and get 50 words that describe what you think self-care is, right? It can be loosely related. It can be directly related. Think of the 4 different pieces to self-care: the spiritual, the emotional, the mental or psychological, and the physical piece to it, right? Mind, body, and soul, for a lack of better words to use. 50 words, list them out, and then drop in the comments for the day 1 post that you've done it. Give me a thumbs up, a smiley face. If you want to share a few of yours, great. If you want to screenshot your list and post it up, that's awesome too. It's not a requirement, it's appreciated. But just let us know that you were able to finish the challenge, because the big piece here is accountability. And I want you to be held accountable for all 7 days. So I want to see a thumbs up, a done, a little check mark, something that says, all right, I did it. I did the self-care assessment. I did my 50 words and I'm good. I'm ready to roll into day 2. And hopefully we'll be able to have a nice conversation about it. And I will see you tomorrow in day 2. Good night. Today is Fresh Air Day, and today I want you to get outside. It's the reason why I'm doing this one outside today, so that you can see
I went for a run this morning and it feels amazing. I know all of you do not live in a place where it's this warm at this time of year, so even if it's cold, take a walk around the block. Play in the snow if you live somewhere where it's snowing. Go for a run, go for a hike. If you live near the beach, take a little beach walk. But just try and get outside. The fresh air is amazing for your mental health, your physical health, and you'll see how it spills into your emotional health as well. Take a few minutes maybe if you live somewhere like this where it's nice and sunny today, and maybe just sit and listen to nature, listen to the birds, hear the wind through the trees, and maybe take a few minutes to meditate, get in touch with your soul again. So good luck with today's challenge, and I can't wait to hear what everyone decided to do. Drop it in the comments below. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Welcome to day 3. Today is about nourishing your body, and I'm not about to sit here and tell you how to do that. I'm not a nutritionist by any means, but we are going to look at what we're putting into our body. Food really can affect our mood, our energy level. So today's challenge is going to be to have you start a food journal. And while I want you to do it all day today, see if you can do it for like the next week, maybe even 2 weeks. I know they're really difficult. I myself had done them so many times. It's really hard to remember to write everything that you eat in like a little journal or notebook, or maybe use your phone. If you have an iPhone, use the Notes app. That's what I do. They have apps that you can, I think, pay money for and use to journal whatever you're eating for the day, but just jot it down on a notebook, or maybe if you're working from home, it's a little bit easier. You keep a little pad of paper next to your desk, and every time you eat something, you just write down what it is. It doesn't have to be super detailed, but the idea is to be aware of the food that you're putting into your body. If you notice that every day around 3 o'clock, you go downstairs and you get a bowl of ice cream, and then by like 5 o'clock, you're crashing, you might be sugar crashing. It's just a guess. So today's challenge is to bring awareness into the food that you are putting into your body by journaling or tracking in some way what you are eating, from sun up to sundown, even the snacks in between the meals. And this should really help you get a little bit more in touch with what your body is doing when you are feeding it certain foods. How is it responding to those foods? How does it respond when you put in 3 cups of coffee? How does it respond when you're drinking a couple glasses of wine? If it's okay, great, keep doing it. But if you notice that you're getting a negative response from your body with certain foods, then it's something to really look into. If you sit down and you look at your food journal at the end of the day and you go, oof, I don't have any greens on this list, then maybe the next day you can think about how you can add some of those vegetables into your diet. So it's just something to think about, for a lack of a better term, food for thought. Good luck on today's challenge. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Day 4 is Tech Detox Day. I know what you're thinking. How am I supposed to detox from technology when I have to work and live and socialize on technology? That's a good question. As much as you can today, try to put your phone down. If that means during your lunch break, you step away from the computer, maybe you go into the kitchen and you sit and pull out that book you've been meaning to read or you haven't finished yet, or grab a magazine, but leave the phone upstairs next to the computer or just out of sight. I know that we're all working from technology right now, and this is going to be a huge challenge, but I think you can do it. And going forward, when things get back to normal a little bit in life, I really want you to consider how many hours a day you're spending on technology. How connected are you to your cell phone? When you get a text message, are you picking it up and checking it right away, or are you just kind of walking away from it? Sometimes I will leave my phone in my room and go into the kitchen and forget about it for an hour or two, and it actually feels amazing. So your challenge today is to try, if you can, have some separation from your computer, from your iPads, from your e-readers, from your cell phones, as much as you can. That also means the TV. I guess that would still be technology, huh? It's a good opportunity to go for a walk, maybe do some meditation, do a 10-minute meditation, and kind of clear yourself of all that technology and all that stimulation. Throw on a yoga video and do an hour of yoga or do a workout. But whatever you do, try to avoid excess time on devices. So that means separation from any of those online games you might play, or maybe take a day away from social media. Although it's a little challenging when I'm posting this on social media. So at some point you'll have to come back so that you can see what day 5 is. But post in the comments and let us know what you're doing to get away from technology. What are you replacing it with today? I'm sure we all could use some ideas right now on how to kind of rejuvenate that side of us. So feel free to drop your thoughts in the comments, and I will see you tomorrow. Okay, ladies, this should be a short one. Today we are talking about our nighttime routine and self-care. And this one I feel like might be one of the easier ones to do because there's so much you can do. You can read a book before bed instead of watching TV, which actually will go along with yesterday's of the tech detox. Or you can take a bubble bath, or you can do a face mask. I just got these new lip masks. Didn't really know what they were. I had to have a few friends explain them to me. So like tonight, I will probably do a nice face mask, the lip masks. Who knows? Maybe I'll do a little teeth whitening or something. I don't know, maybe a hair mask, all the masks. But think about what you can do for your nighttime routine that is self-care related. Remember, this will set the standard for how you sleep. And sleep, as we all know, is extremely important. It is what rejuvenates us and what really sets the pace for the next day. Have you ever gotten up from having crappy sleep and you just can't snap out of it all day long? Yeah, so your nighttime routine will really help you get that nice deep REM sleep. So feel free to drop in the comments below some of your nighttime routines. I'd love to know what you guys are doing. Great. See you tomorrow. Today, we are talking about getting social and keeping the connection with friends, with family, And I know right now in the middle of a pandemic, that is really, really challenging. But the way women are naturally designed, we need connection. We recharge, we energize ourselves by having emotional connection. And that's what feeds our soul. That's what feeds that piece of self-care that recharges our emotional. So I decided to do this with Sarah Beth because this is me being social. But she has been really great at staying social during the pandemic. And I thought this would be a really cool opportunity for her to share with you guys what she's doing to make sure that she's getting that emotional connection every week. So, Sarah Beth, tell me about what you're doing. What's your routine like?
So I have days set aside to talk to people because I found at the beginning of pandemic, every time I talked to someone, we'd be like, we need to talk more often, but it just wasn't happening. When every day and every minute kind of doesn't seem any different from the other ones, it's hard to like prioritize stuff. So I just kind of made a schedule with a couple of people to talk once a week, once a month, twice a month, and we have it on our schedule. And sometimes things get messed up and you have to move times, but by putting aside that time that like, hey, I call my mom every 9:30 on Monday morning and we talk until one of us realizes, wow, we've talked so long and I haven't eaten food yet, or whatever the problem is. So that helps just to leave space for it. It doesn't have to happen every time, but if you don't like make the space, it just never seems to happen.
That's a really good point. I'm really glad you brought that up because while yes, we're talking about being social, you also have to make sure that you make the space for it, right? That brings in like time management skills, getting yourself a day planner, putting it on your calendar, putting it in your schedule somehow. That's a whole different area of self-care, but
they're all related,
right? They are. They intertwine so much. We keep talking about how there's like these 4 different pieces to self-care. It's the emotional, the mental, the physical, and the spiritual, but they all interconnect a lot, right? And this definitely interconnects with the emotional. If you maybe go do a hike with your girlfriend, that gets that physical in, and you get to talk the whole time, right? And it feeds the soul, so it's definitely feeding into that spiritual side. That is so cool.
Well, and one of the things I also wanted to say is one of the things I love about our talks, when we schedule it for, and today is our scheduled meeting time, is we work side by side. So I know like the other problem that I have trying to stay social is you call someone, you say, what's new? And they say, nothing, we live in a pandemic. But if you guys like co-work or cook side by side, I've done that with a few friends where I'll be chopping vegetables at my house and they're chopping vegetables at their house, and it kind of negates the need for such like attention to social, and it's more similar to the type of social we're used to, where we're not just staring at each other's eyes and trying to force a conversation and a connection that's not as natural. That really helps me do puzzles together online, or cook next to each other, or work next to each other like we do. I think that really helps keep the social like alive and not strained feeling, because then it feels tiring again.
Absolutely. We're so burned out on being on Zoom, which is funny that we're recording this on Zoom, but it is what it is. But we are definitely getting burned out on looking at screens constantly, being on Zoom, being on video chats of whatever kind of video chat you're on. So it is kind of nice because while you're doing something else, while you're chopping your vegetables, that person is still there and you can still hear them and you can glance over and still see them, but you don't have to be so focused on it. Although when we work side by side, we're working on computer screens, so that doesn't do much for that.
Today, I built something. This wasn't a computer screen. This was a physical project. And I just did it in front of my computer screen.
Right.
That's when desks come in handy.
Absolutely. So yeah, I love that idea of doing a work side by side kind of thing. And you still keep that connection with other people because you're right. Like we haven't had much happen in our lives lately that what are you going to talk about? It's just crazy. I mean, you can talk about the pandemic, you can talk about politics, but come on, that shit gets old. So yeah, it's a nice change of pace. It's a sense of normalcy. So I thank you so much for participating in today's video chat.
Thank you. And thank you for doing the self-care challenge. It's nice to have something to do. Lily, that you can accomplish. Sorry, that sounds bad. I sit at my computer all day and it's like sometimes you don't feel like you accomplished anything. And it's really nice with these projects to be like, I did it.